Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second attempt of... Oh, God, I am so freaking loud. Hello, and welcome to the second attempt of... Yeah, hello, and welcome to the second attempt of trying to record this. And, oh, my goodness, yesterday. Reverb just...
It was not a good day.
It was not a good day. No, it was not. Basically, we were like, okay, let's sit down and live stream the podcast. Well, I couldn't do that because I was dropping like 50% of my frames, regardless of what I set the settings to. And then we were like, okay, that's fine, we'll just record it. It was still dropping frames. Then we tried audio. We tried recording audio. And Reverb's internet died. As soon... we were like really starting to get into the podcast, and then we were like... Then his internet died, and then I was just like... I literally just went and took a nap, a shame nap, because I didn't successfully create a podcast for the first time.
Yep. And then when I got up from my desk, I spilled water all over my desk.
It was a day in the study of defeat.
Yeah. Today's gonna be better, right?
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
All right. Do you have anything else? Do you have anything to discuss?
Not really.
Also, he's Reverb. I'm Monty, and you might notice we have a new layout. You might also notice that somehow I got like a little John Locke scar above my eye somehow, and I don't know how that happened. So, all right, let's get down to the news articles. Do I need to link them to you again?
I can pull them up. Give me a second.
All right.
That's doing.
All right, we're starting with the select all one.
What the hell? There we go. Which one?
The secret furry patrons.
Hang on.
Okay.
Boink. Let me go all the way back. Okay, I've got the furry patrons. Hang on.
I'm hanging on to the edge of my seat.
I gotta open the other link too.
We'll be on the edge of our seats until we move to the middle of our seat. That I can't take credit for that. That's from a TV show. I can't remember which one though.
Oh, there's my personality thing to do. So, okay.
All right. Let me just boost you a little bit in the audio department. All right. This article is called "The Secret Furry Patrons Keeping Indie Artists Afloat." Oh God, you're frozen. Oh no. You came back.
Back?
Yeah, you're back. Outside of a rarefied top tier, it can be extremely hard to make money in creative fields online. Writers are continually asked to work for pennies, or even worse, exposure. Artists may have it even worse. Clients want to pay a paltry sum for work that could take hours or sometimes days, I'm adding that to the article, and is then snatched and put to use by third parties without credit or payment. But there is still at least one online community that treats artists with respect and pays fair prices for original work. One community that artists can rely on when editors, publishers, and social networks make it more and more difficult to get paid. When it comes to commissioning original works of art, nobody can match the furries. Which, I mean, is pretty much true. I mean, we've read the article before, and you'll see. At an unsteady time to be a professional creative, furry commissions offer stable supplementary income for many artists. Sarah Jensen, a 28-year-old artist in Minnesota, estimates that she makes around $500 drawing 10 or so illustrations a month. Some people make it a lot more than me. Some people make just, I want to go out tonight. Can I take a commission so I can go to a movie or whatever? And then, either way, the furry fandom is a reliable place to find work. The demand in the furry community, such as it is a very different thing than in other fields and groups that want/need art. Writer and self-described furry community historian Colin Space Twinks explained to me over Twitter DM. The main reason is that furries, people interested in... Can I just say it's interesting now that news writers are doing interviews over Twitter DM? That's just cool to me.
Yeah, also, can we please read the article about the Noods for Puppy, or the Puppy for Noods?
Oh God. I guess. Link me in Telegram.
Oh, it's a husky puppy. I hate to interrupt you, but just no.
Okay, where was I? Where was I? The main reason is that furries, people interested in anthropomorphic animals, often have alter egos, animal alter egos known as a fursona. Say you've got a fursona, Space Twink says. You've imagined it. You know in your head what they look like. You think they look pretty cool, and you want to see it, and you think to yourself, gosh, I'd like to see that somewhere other than in my own brain, but you can't draw. There's only one way you're going to get that. Someone else draws it for you. Because fursonas are unique for every person, it's practically impossible to get a rendering of one's fursona without paying money for it. Dressing up as one's fursona is also a common practice, but high-end costumes can run thousands of dollars. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. Slowly shove fursuit in the box.
Okay. Using generic images is frowned upon in the community, and using a drawing of someone else is practically begging for punishment. I'd say that getting a drawing of your fursona is pretty much expected, to be honest with you. Ted, who goes by Dr. Fox online, tells me. Not having a drawing of your fursona, according to Ted, would kind of be like having a Facebook profile with no picture. Just because you have your name on there, your friends are going to be like, who's this? He estimates that 99% of furries have something they've commissioned from an artist. Illustrator Amber Hill, who goes by Vanted online, says that she took her first furry commission when she was 19 years old. She's now 33. When I accept new work, it's usually about a quarter to a half of my income, she wrote over email. While she wasn't comfortable discussing specifics, she said that fur commissions were quote unquote enough to support my mortgage habit. Haha. Katie Hofgaard, a full-time freelance illustrator, uses her income from furry commissions and a variety of other projects to support both herself, her boyfriend, and, most importantly, their cat. People in the furry fandom usually want a depiction of one of their personal characters, usually an anthropomorphic animal or fantasy animal of some kind, she said over email. It's their imagined world which I bring to life for them. Maybe they're exploring a ruin, going for a peaceful walk, enjoying a cup of tea, or reenacting a part of their story. I really enjoy hearing the backstories behind each character I paint for people, she admitted. Some people just make characters that are fun to look at and draw, and some have volumes of tales for each of their characters. Oh god, this is a... Oh, no, I'm almost done, okay. I was about to say this is a real long article. The furry art economy isn't static either. It goes through trends. When the show BoJack Horseman debuted, getting your fursona drawn the style of the show's character designer, Lisa Hannawalt, was super popular. The trend right now, according to Ted, is getting custom stickers to use on the messaging app Telegram, which is, I mean, basically, if you... Now and Later has an iron grip on that pretty much right now. Don't they, charge, $15 per sticker?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's $15 per sticker.
I think it's 15 or 20, but they're still expensive.
Yeah. One that I have is my character in front of the American flag to replace the American flag emoji, and then one of my other hobbies is shooting, so I have a character with a pistol in one of them. Furry commissions aren't one and done, or that Ted explained that. Furry commissions aren't one and done. By his own estimate, Ted spends between $500 and $700 a year on commissions. Put in perspective, that's about as much as a daily delivery of New York Times. He says he gets a new commission about every 2 or 3 months, usually by browsing Fur Affinity or through word of mouth. He describes it as, oh, I have $50 in my rainy day funds, this artist is open, and I really wanted this from them, so I'm going to go ahead and spend my money. If only. If only.
Yeah, really.
The lowest pricing tiers are generally black and white sketches and headshots for around $25, but if you wanted something more painterly or a full-body sketch, it would run you hundreds of dollars. Not in every case. Not every furry commission is hyper expensive.
Yeah, a lot of them are, though, and they're not too bad. They're not that bad. I think I've seen some really good art that's no more than 100 or something. So my camera was lopsided. It was bothering me.
Now you're all the way to the left.
Damn it.
No, you're making it worse. There we go. There. Keep it right there.
Close enough.
Yeah. For this piece, I briefly considered asking artists if they wanted to contribute work for free before immediately realizing how hypocritical that was. So after deciding on select all personas my colleague Madison suggested, a raccoon because we dig through internet trash, I emailed artist Molly Wiedemann and commissioned a piece. 6 hours and one $50 PayPal transfer later, I had the beautiful specimen, a raccoon using our blue and yellow color scheme that you see at the top of this page. I will put the link in the description, people, don't worry. A painless process that, if for some reason I needed a bespoke anthropomorphic character drawn, I'd gladly go through it again. One thing that I really like from working with furries versus working with other people is furries are really easygoing. Yeah, no. You're all the way to the left again.
Some are. I am?
Yep. Just leave it. It's fine. Just leave it. You can do whatever. A lot of the time they'll be like, you can do whatever you want, or they'll give me a really general theme and I can draw what comes to mind. What kind of fantasy art land do you live in?
Yeah, really.
Furries are some of the most particular people about their personas. That is the truth, I'm sorry to say.
You didn't make the fur color the exact shade of blue that I wanted.
I want a fursuit made entirely of 3 layers of the really, really, really friggin' hard to find mint fur.
Oh my god. That mint fur is $3,000. I'm gonna give you $50 for it.
No, in fact, do it for exposure. Which is not to say that she doesn't get interesting requests. One of the weirdest ones I got was someone who was like, hey, do you draw My Little Pony? I'm like, of course I do. I draw basically anything. And they're like, would you draw just a normal My Little Pony but like super muscly? And I was like, what? Yeah, I'll do that.
Whack.
That's the weirdest request you've gotten?
Lucky her.
Yeah, seriously. I wonder if they censored this article. I'm starting to wonder. Hill said that the only type of requests that qualify as weird are the ones that have to work free or exposure. Hill, who does not consider herself a furry, was ebullient in her praise of the fandom. The furry fandom has been remarkable to me, and I am so thankful for the people who are part of it, she wrote. I've become dear friends with some of my clients, traveled the world with a few. In 2008, I was commissioned for a piece of art with a coyote and a raven. In 2014, I married that client, and I still owe him some artwork. Ha. And that's the end of the article.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. All right, so do we want to discuss this article a little further, or do we really have anything to add to it or clarify what the furry fandom is really like?
I mean, the furry fandom isn't as bad as people make it out to be when it comes to art. There are those select few that root for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There are the few, like the article saying, there are the few that are like, hey, I'm not going to pay you. I'll do it for exposure specifically.
Yeah.
And that's where it's wrong and doesn't need to be a thing.
Yeah.
Because with a lot of artists, furry and non-furry alike, that is their job, that is their income, and that is their main source of income.
That is their livelihood, basically. Yeah, that is their livelihood.
And so just offering to do it for free is not okay.
Right.
And then with a lot of people, when the artist says, no, I want you to pay me, they get so pissed off that it's not okay.
It's like that's like expecting someone to work for you. That is literally expecting someone to work for you and then fully expecting not having to pay them for their labors. That's not how the world works. That is called slavery.
Exactly. I mean, as a new artist, I can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
Like me with photography. I love taking pictures. And if somebody was like, hey, do you mind taking a photo shoot? I'd be like, all right, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
And not ask for any money because I'm not that well known yet.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like that great yet. I'm still learning. I still have a lot to learn about photography.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the principle matter. People get upset when someone says no.
Yep. Which, I mean, that's kind of the generation we live in, mostly. If you say no to something, someone's going to get upset.
Exactly. And it's kind of pointless.
Yeah. Anything else that we need to clarify from the article?
Not really.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next article. Let's move on to the next article. Do we want to do the personality test thing first?
Oh, we can.
Yeah. Can you link me your results? Because I just have mine.
I gotta go back and find mine. Damn it. There you go.
Alright. Alright, I'll read yours, and I'll link you mine.
I've got yours already.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
Alright. This is actually really, really interesting.
The personality tests?
Personality test. Yeah. It's more interesting than me, because the last time I took one was in middle school, and I'm still the same kind of person.
I was gonna say, the last one I took was in high school.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so you are the INFJ personality, the advocate. The INFJ personality type is a very rare, making up less than 1% of the population. But they nonetheless leave their mark on the world. As diplomats, they have an inborn sense of idealism and morality. But what sets them apart is the accompanying judging trait. INFJs are not idle dreamers, but people capable of taking concrete steps to realize their goals and make a lasting positive impact.
Or in my case, cause chaos and leave a negative impact. Chaos, destruction.
As we streamed in GTA last night. Also, everybody, this podcast, until I get a new computer, probably isn't going to be streamed, but you can catch me and Reverb just casually gaming on stream pretty much whenever.
Anytime.
Just follow us on Twitch. It's on there. It's not on there. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say you have to link mine too.
Yeah, I mean our Twitch isn't anywhere on there. The Patreon is.
Oh no, my Twitch isn't on there either.
Yeah, ours is. The main Twitch is twitch.tv/GFP podcast, and that's enough shameless self promotion. So let's get back to it. All right.
Okay.
I think that's good for the summary. Let's see. Strengths and weaknesses. You're creative, insightful, inspiring, and convincing. Decisive, determined and passionate, altruistic. Yeah. Your weaknesses are you're sensitive, extremely private, perfectionistic, always need to have a cause, can burn out easily, and that's pretty much it. That's you.
Yep. It is.
All right. Do you want to read mine?
Just the personality overview and then the weaknesses.
Yeah.
Strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, the strengths and weaknesses. And we can go more into detail in it later if we feel like it.
Yeah. You are an ENFP personality, the campaigner.
Yes.
The ENFP personality is a true free spirit. They are often the life of the party, but unlike explorers, they are less interested in sheer excitement and pleasure of the moment than enjoying the social and emotional connections they make with others. Charming, independent, energetic, compassionate. 7% of the population that they comprise. Something doesn't sound like a word. Comprise can certainly be felt in any crowd. Let's see, your strengths and weaknesses. A strength, you're curious, you're observant, you're energetic and enthusiastic, you're an excellent communicator. You know how to
I don't know if I'm an excellent communicator.
That's why when you went You know how to relax. You're very popular and friendly. A weakness. Poor practical skills. Difficult to focus. You overthink things. You get stressed easy. You're highly emotional. You're independent to a fault.
Would you agree with those results?
I would agree with a lot of them. The only one I wouldn't agree with would be finding it difficult to focus. You seem to focus on things pretty well.
Well, you haven't seen me trying to clean the house. I'll put it that way.
Oh, God.
All right. And do you want to discuss that a little bit, or basically that was just a little fun thing? Everybody, that website is called 16personalities.com, and it covers everything from strengths and weaknesses to romantic to relationships to even what kind of parent you're going to probably be. So this is not sponsored in any way. It's totally free to take the test. I just found it really nifty, and honestly, I saw it in a Jesse Cox video, so I wanted to do it for myself. All right, and on to the next article. Telegram's going crazy.
I forgot what was the next one. Oh, oh, God.
Furry for real.
All right. I can read this one if you want.
Yeah, feel free.
Furry for real. local furries provide insight to their personas. Everybody has a hobby they enjoy. For some, it may be a physical hobby, such as I thought that said sorcerer, such as soccer, or something more sedentary, such as video games. Maybe your hobby gives you a sense of community or simply an activity to pass the time. Regardless, it gives those who practice it an outlet to engage and express parts of their identity, and yes, that includes furry. To the uninitiated, a furry is simply an individual who admires anthropomorphized admires an anthropomorphized animal character, or in other words, an animal with human-like attributes. Think of Looney Tunes and Disney characters. Iconic characters such as Bugs Bunny, Mickey Mouse are excellent depictions of the furry setting, despite predating the fandom. If the character can talk, walk on 2 feet, wear clothes, or possess any other traits or behaviors associated with humans, then it is a furry. Which, kind of touching on that, I wouldn't consider them that.
They're anthropomorphic characters, but they're not furries.
Exactly. That's what I would say. They're anthropomorphic, but not furry specifically.
Furries are usually original characters created by a person.
Exactly. They're the original characters, which is their personas, OCs, or anything like that. Or even the person who is as a furry, not that. But anyways, much of the society is unfamiliar with furries, which causes misunderstanding and even hostility towards them. CSI. When people think of furries, they envision a person in an animal costume, but that is not the case for all furry fans. For those who do dress up, it allows them to engage their persona. A persona is a persona a furry acts out when he or she is inside the fursuit. Like cosplay and Halloween, the individual is playing a character and may behave differently from their everyday self, while others identify with their personas in their day-to-day lives.
I was about to say, for some people like you and me, our characters are just us, a representation of us.
Exactly, and like I've explained in previous episodes, when I created Reverb, I was this shy, antisocial person, and that was who I wanted to be.
With my current character, Sasha, I discovered I was trans, which you probably can't tell because of my beard, but you can represent yourself any way you want, but Sasha is me. A female German Shepherd who is very, very, very heavily referenced on Marilyn Monroe.
Exactly. And like I said, over the years, Jesus Christ, 7 years now, 8 years that I've officially been a furry, I've slowly become more confident and less shy and everything like that, and slowly adapted into what I designed Reverb specifically to be. I wanted to be him. I wanted to be this confident person, and I've gotten better at it. I'm still shy, but I've got better at it. Like EFS last year. I never would. If I looked at myself back in 2011 or 2000,
you never would have done the podcast panel. You would have just balked and ran.
Exactly. I never would have been able to get up there, or even now, I would never be able to do the podcast in the first place. That's how shy I was. But I've gotten better about it, as you can tell, and you even know me in the past year and a half, 2 years now, I think.
Yeah, about 2 years.
You've seen how more confident I've gotten.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, back to the article.
Yes.
And then there's a big quote thing that says, generally, with a lot of people with personas, that isn't the only thing that makes them who they are. Yet the persona is a part of them. Like I said, I identify with the cleverness and slyness of foxes, but the character that I'm dressed up as now is only sort of like me, says Demo Weasel, Pack South, who dresses up as a fox. Another important... Oh, Jesus. Can I just skip that next sentence? Because don't do that.
Another important feature of the furry community is the artwork. Type in the word furry in Google, and some of the first images to pop up will be drawings. They won't necessarily be safe for work, or they
have safe search on.
Yes, you should have safe search on as strict as you possibly can.
A substantial part of the fandom revolves around artwork. According to movies, a lot of people have different outlets for creativity. For me, as a furry, I use my creativity to draw. I grew up watching a lot of Disney movies, and it has an enormous influence on what I wanted to do with my artwork. Media giants such as Disney and Warner Brothers created classic cartoons for generations and to enjoy, and thus captured the imagination of children who eventually became furries. A significant amount of people associate being a furry with having sex fetish. However, that is only partially true. There is artwork present on the internet, but not But just as not all furries wear fursuits, not all furries have a fetish. Because of this assumption, hate and harassment is generated towards the community. On January 20th, the ACFI is hosting a fur meet that will... How old is this article?
I have no idea.
The ACFI is hosting a fur meet that will take place from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. There will be a playscape, trails, dog enclosure, and basketball courts. The event is a potluck, so...
We can just skip this. It's just repping an event.
Yeah. Ultimately, furries are not that different from the rest of us. Look at how video game... I am so upset that video games is not 2 words.
Yep, me too.
Video games, Dungeons and Dragons, and anime have transitioned from being initially misunderstood by the public to being accepted in the mainstream today. Most will not even bat an eye if you enjoy this hobby. Because of that, some are hopeful the furry fandom will eventually be. Their movies are less optimistic. I think as time goes on, more and more people become aware of it, and we're friends are furries, not losing their perception. Which I absolutely agree with.
Mm-hmm.
The furry fandom is slowly changing to a more positive
Yes, it is.
nature and being more well known instead of being a taboo.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Also,
to consider.
oh, go ahead.
You were going to say, oh, that's all I say.
No, I was gonna say. Also, the media is starting to slowly shift more, not in our favor, but they're being nice, kind of, because recently there was a furry episode of the show Lucifer.
And I still have not seen that episode.
From what I've heard, I haven't seen it either because I don't have regular TV. From what I've heard, there was only furry parts of it for about 5 or so minutes, and they actually used actual fursuiters. I realized I just said actually used actual. They used actual fursuits. They had a casting call, and they were very, very respectful to the fandom and didn't make us look like sex-crazed deviants.
Good. That's what the fandom needs at this point.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely what we need. It's definitely what we need.
The fandom needs a lot, and it's slowly getting there.
Mm-hmm. As it becomes more mainstream, more not normal, but more mainstream people will join it, and it won't be a total fringy type of thing where only the most extreme furries consider themselves a part of the fandom.
Exactly, and it's going to take time to get there before.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, back in the 1920s, flappers were considered risque and lewd.
Yep. Shall we go on to the... Oh, we don't have any more
articles. We don't have another article, so we can just discuss something. We've also...
The puppies...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do have another article. This is purely Reverb's article. He chose it, so I had no part in this. I'm just... Okay. Do I have to read it?
I'm sorry, but I can read it, but I chose this article because when we were looking at the secret furry Patreon article, this is the most viewed stories that's compared to this one.
Oh, God.
How four college students traded their nudes for a very cute puppy. Here's a question for you. Would you exchange photos of your naked body for a puppy? It is, if this matters to you, a very cute puppy, which it is. Look at the puppy.
Yes, look at the puppy. It's adorable.
A husky with white fur, blue eyes, and giant paws. 4 college freshmen, Allison, Courtney, Kat, and Maria, at the University of Texas at San Antonio, thought it was worth to send you pictures rather than pay the asking price of an animal, $300. Well, actually, for the women, roommates who have been living together on campus since January thought it'd be worth to send photos of a friend or theirs to pay for the dog, which we could try to explain, but it's probably best to just let them tell it. Okay, how did this start? Which one of you was texting with the guy who told you he'd trade you a puppy for some nudes? Allison says, I was. I met him in high school. Can you walk me through how the conversation turned to him asking for nudes in exchange for a puppy? Allison says, well, it started off with him posting on Snapchat that he was selling puppies. I told him that I wanted one, and he asked how much they were. He said they were $300 and said, whoa, no, I can't pay that. That's too much. Can you just give it to me? He said, maybe for payment of nudes. And I said, I'm down. He tried to play it off like it wasn't him, and he said, oh, that wasn't me, though, friend. But you're really down? That's basically how it happened. So the guy jokingly, but also seriously, said he'd take nudes for the dog. Is that when you texted the roommate group thread? Allison says, Maria said she had nudes from another girl, so I wouldn't have to send my own. she asked the girl that she had nudes from if we could use them, and she let us use them. What? What was her reaction? It's a pretty bold and kind thing for her to let you guys do. Also, what were you doing with her nudes in the first place? Maria says. I texted her beforehand. She was cool about it and said, "You go for it." She thought it was hilarious. We're pretty good friends and are comfortable with each other, so she sent them to me before all this to help her choose the best ones for her boyfriend. That's what friends are for. What? This article is just getting worse and worse the more I read it.
I've been shaking my head at the camera for the whole time. Also, I think I figured out why you don't sound as good in the microphone. It's too far away.
It's like this far. It's
True.
not that far.
I mean, mine's like that far away from my face. You can't see.
How my camera is, I need to readjust everything and change it because I added my second monitor.
Mm-hmm.
I had to slide my monitor or my microphone over. So camera's here, microphone is over here.
You also need a new phantom power.
I do. I haven't bought that yet because money. I love it. So you sent them to do. Was he surprised that you actually came through? Allison says he was impressed. He was more impressed than surprised. And he believed it was me since she and I have the same skin tone. I don't even know if he knows that we're mine since he didn't have a Twitter. And then he gave you the puppy? Courtney, they had to drive 3 hours to get it. Wait, the dude did or you ladies did? Was the puppy back in your hometown, Allie? Allison says, yeah, we had to go back to my hometown. It's a pretty awkward conversation when we got there. We tried not to stay too long. Understandable. Now that you have the puppy, how are you guys splitting responsibilities? Also, what did you name him? Courtney says, technically it's Allison's dog, and she's bringing him home for the summer. We couldn't decide on a name. I'm from Alaska, and since the Iditarod is really a big deal there, I saw proposed Baltimore. We thought it was cute and fitting. Obviously, this whole thing has blown up on Twitter. What was the reaction been like from people? Courtney says, it's been kind of crazy. A lot of people thought it was hilarious. Others have been pretty pissed off because they didn't want to read the thread where I screenshotted Maria's tweet about consent. So I've gotten a lot of mean DMs. We definitely didn't think it was going to get this. I had never had more than 2,000 favorites, so when I woke up with like 50,000, I was pretty shocked. And this dude is still none the wiser, right? Allison says, I don't think he knows, or at least he hasn't told me anything about it. It's a cute puppy, so I mean...
It's a cute puppy, but this...
But...
Don't... Okay, people who listen to the podcast, don't do this. This could have gone south so freaking fast. This could have gone south, like, really bad. I mean, this is, like, on the same level of that one girl who, like, took pictures of her credit card and posted it to Twitter and then was surprised that she didn't have any money in, like, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Don't do this. It's a cute puppy, but a cute puppy isn't worth, you know, your boobies or your other things.
I'm going to touch on this. I mean, I would understand doing it to a point. But
Yeah.
don't say, hey, Twitter, I posted my nudes and I got a doggo. Don't
Look
do
at
that.
my body. Give me a freaking puppy from my body. Give me pictures. Give me a picture for that puppy. Give me pictures and I'll give you the puppy.
Exactly. I mean, if you're going to do it, don't say, like, Twitter, look at this. My roommate bought a dog with nudes.
Yeah, that's like...
Not worth it.
The age we live in is a weird one. It is so weird.
I mean, it's an interesting idea, and the article got more and more weirder as I read it, but I'm kind of glad I read it.
Same. And now it's going to be on the internet for everyone to see.
Lo and behold, we are the reasons that the guy finds out.
Oh, God. Wait a minute.
He's low-key a furry, listens to our podcast.
Yeah. Also, I do want to give a little bit of a shout out to Furcast because Paradox actually he really supports. He knows how hard. He literally said, "I know how hard it is to start a furry podcast." So here's a link to their podcast. And they also, you might have noticed that it isn't General Furry Podcast anymore because that was a horrible pun, and I got the bell dinged at me several freaking times.
You did?
Yeah, they dinged the bell like 5 times when they heard our name.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
No, we gotta keep it podcast.
Yeah, thank you, Furcast, and
yes, thank
Paradox.
you very
We've
much.
we've chatted idly on Twitter, and thank you for the shout out. Like seriously, thank you. All right. Do we have anything else to discuss?
I don't think so, unless you want to touch on the personality thing some more.
Not really, because the other stuff is more like, how will this help you in your life? Stuff like that. Like relationships, friendships, and stuff.
Yeah, which, I mean, we're both fine with how those are at the moment.
Yeah. So, everybody, on that note, thank you for watching and listening to General Furry Podcast this week, and we hope you'll join us next time. Remember, we love you all, you're amazing, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wait! Stop the merriment! Hello, everyone. It is me, Monty, and as you can tell, this is going to be... The beginning of this video is kind of silly, but I'm actually here to talk to you about something that's kind of crucial to the podcast at this point. We just made a Patreon, and we would really appreciate it if you sub to it. And if you don't know what Patreon is, it's a place where you can go to support your favorite people, like YouTubers, artists, and people like that, and donate whatever you want. And all I'm asking for you is to donate $1 if it's reasonable for you. If you have the funds, donate $1. If you like us, donate $1. But, you know, don't overextend yourself. But it really helped the podcast. None of this is free. Well, I mean, everything up to this point has been free, but the computer I use to edit the podcast, record the podcast and everything, it's almost 3 years old. So I kind of need to update my stuff, just so the podcast can keep going, because this computer can barely take doing a video and an audio podcast at the same time. So everybody, this has just been a little thing at the end of the video. Feel free to skip it next time, but thank you for at least listening. And please donate to our Patreon at patreon.com/GFPpod. I will put it in the description and on the video. And everybody, I'll see you next time, and hope you enjoyed the podcast this week.